1 week ago, Zilisch finally broke through. After a brutal rookie season, the 19-year-old scored his first career Cup Series top 10 at Sonoma, a clean, strong 7th-place run. And afterward, he said exactly what you'd want to hear from a kid finding his feet, that it felt good to have a clean day, that his team needed something to build on going into the next race. Momentum at last. And then the next race came, Chicagoland. Lap 1, not lap 50, not a late race mistake, lap 1. Before he'd completed a single lap, Zilisch was collected in a crash that wasn't his fault, slammed the inside wall, and was done for the day. Dead last. 0 laps completed. Over the radio, you could hear the heartbreak. "We're destroyed. I'm sorry, guys. I can't get anything to go for me." One outlet called him the unluckiest driver in NASCAR, perhaps ever. And when you look at the full picture, it's genuinely hard to argue. So today, we're going past the crash clip everyone's sharing. We're looking at the real pattern, why almost none of it is his fault, and why one of the most successful drivers in the sport is telling everyone not to write this kid off. Stay with me. Welcome back to Freedom Line News, the channel where we don't just chase the drama, we break down what really happened. If you're new, hit subscribe. This community is growing every week. Let's get into it. Let's start with the crash itself, because the details matter enormously for understanding just how unlucky this was. On the opening lap of the Aero 400, the field stacked up, as fields do on a first lap at a track nobody had raced since 2019. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. got squeezed toward the wall. Then Eric Jones made contact with Ryan Preece, spinning Preece around, and Preece slid directly down the track, right into the path of Zilisch. Zilisch veered left, trying desperately to avoid it, but there was simply nowhere to go. He lost control and nosed hard into the inside wall on the backstretch, destroying the front end of his car. Watch the replay and it's unmistakable. Zilisch was a pure bystander. He didn't cause this. He didn't make an aggressive move. He was in the wrong place at the wrong time in a chain reaction that started 3 cars away from him. His car was towed to the garage. He was evaluated and released from the infield care center, and he was classified last, 38th, having completed 0 laps. And here's where the unluckiest driver in NASCAR label starts to feel less like hyperbole and more like a fair description. Because this wasn't an isolated bad day. This was the latest chapter in a genuinely staggering run of misfortune. That crash was Zilisch's 7th DNF of the season. 7th. And it was his 5th incident in just the last 7 races. Let that sink in. Over his last 7 races, this young driver has been caught up in something 5 times. He's now finished 30th or worse 9 times in 19 races this season. He sits 34th in the championship standings, which is worse than every single full-time driver in the series except one. And the cruelest part of it is the timing. This came exactly 1 week after his breakthrough. He finally had a clean day, finally cracked the top 10, finally had something to build on. And then lap 1 of the very next race erased all of it. If you scripted a run of bad luck this specific and this relentless for a movie, people would say it was unrealistic. And yet here it is, happening to a real 19-year-old in real time. But here's the part that everyone sharing the crash clip is missing, and it's the part that actually matters. Because there's a very real danger when a rookie struggles this publicly, of the narrative hardening into, he's a bust, he can't cut it. And one of the most accomplished drivers in the entire sport stepped up this week to say, in no uncertain terms, don't you dare write this kid off. That driver is Joey Logano, a 3-time Cup Series champion. And Logano didn't offer some vague pat on the back. He offered his own story as a direct parallel. Because Joey Logano knows exactly what Zilisch is going through. Logano came into NASCAR as the ultimate can't-miss prospect at Joe Gibbs Racing, hyped to the moon, and then he struggled. And by the end of the 2012 season, he was out of a job, written off, discarded. And then Roger Penske saw something in him that the doubters missed, gave him a chance, and Logano went on to win 3 championships. 3. So when Logano looks at Connor Zilisch, he doesn't see a bust. He said, and this is a direct quote, "Connor's an amazing talent. He's great, but a diamond in the rough at the moment. He just needs to be around long enough." And then he explained the real reason for the struggles in a way that only someone who's lived it could. He said the jump from the O'Reilly Series to the Cup Series is the largest jump in all of motorsports, period, hands down. He talked about how he used to look at the drivers running at the back of Cup fields and think he could easily beat them, and then he got there and watched those same drivers do things with a race car he couldn't keep up with, and realized just how good everyone at this level truly is. That's the context that reframes everything. Zilisch isn't failing. He's making the single hardest jump in racing, while absorbing a run of bad luck that would rattle a veteran. And here's the evidence that Logano is right, that the talent is genuinely there underneath all the wreckage. Remember, this is a driver who nearly won the O'Reilly Series championship last season, who led that series with 10 wins. That doesn't happen by accident. And even in this difficult Cup season, the flashes are visible if you look past the results. At Chicagoland, on a track no one in the field had current experience with, Zilisch was the fastest qualifying rookie, starting 21st, ahead of veterans. The raw speed is there. The Sonoma Top 10 proved he can convert that speed into a result when the racing luck cooperates. The problem hasn't been talent, and it hasn't been effort. It's been circumstance, being collected in other people's crashes, being on a trackhouse team that has broadly struggled this year, and making the hardest transition in the sport all at once. And crucially, the people who actually matter aren't panicking. Despite this brutal stretch, Zilisch is reportedly expected to remain with Trackhouse Racing beyond this season, with his current deal set to run through 2027. That's a team looking at the same flashes of speed that Logano sees, and choosing to invest in the long game rather than react to a run of bad luck. So the honest takeaway from Chicagoland isn't Zilisch is finished. It's the opposite. A genuinely talented young driver is grinding through the hardest possible stretch of his career, with historically bad luck, and the smartest voices in the sport are telling us to be patient, because they've seen this exact story before, and they know how it can end. So now I want to hear from you. Do you think Connor Zilisch is genuinely the unluckiest driver in NASCAR right now? And do you believe, like Logano, that he turns this around and becomes a star? Or has this rookie season shaken your confidence in him? Drop it in the comments, hit like, and subscribe to Freedom Line News, where we cover every NASCAR story with the detail it actually deserves. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.